Hello, Jean. Hope you're okay. Hi, Denise. Good morning to you. Just let me know you're still here. That's some really strange Wi-Fi issues just there. Sorry for the delay. Thanks, Jean. You still there, Denise? You still there? Linda? Linda Wareham's online a second ago. I'll give it a couple of seconds because I think some people have tried to open up a second one. Hi, Denise. I tried to open a second video. I'll give it a second then. Can you hear me okay from here? Can you hear and see me okay from here? Hi, Mariam. Nice to see you. It's beautiful out here, yeah. Absolutely glorious, Jean. Great stuff. Thanks, ladies. Alrighty, one more minute or so and then we'll get started. Sorry about the delay. For some reason my computer froze. I think it might have been a Wi-Fi issue. So, we could be back to golf soon. Hopefully. But things will change. Hi, Mary. It's cold down here as well. I've just rubbed my hands down here, Mary. It's a bit of wind, actually. Okay, what I'm going to start with today is to run you through, first of all, the outline for the protocol for our return to golf. So I don't think anything's going to be the same for a while. And what will happen is that as you approach the pro shop from the clubhouse, so I'm now stood outside the shop, you'll be greeted by a pro who'll be stood outside the shop. And if you want anything from the shop, we'll go in and get it for you. Sweets, drinks, balls, gloves and what have you. You'll still be able to go into the shop should you want to shop for clothing and what have you. But ideally, we're going to be stood here getting the stuff for you. We'll be wearing PPE, masks, gloves, and there'll be hand sanitizer. The marshal will be stood here. And he'll be checking on the bookings. There's going to be a limited amount of bookings per member. I think you're going to get an email out today giving you all the details on this anyway, but I'm giving you a rough sketch of what to expect. You'll make your bookings prior, hopefully, if the computer system, Intelligent Golf, will be able to cope with it, because everyone's going to be looking for different ways of using it. Every club that hosts Intelligent Golf. And the marshal here, and we'll be front of house facing, looking after you and making sure that everything's as it ought to be. The marshal will then allow the people who are playing off the first hole. There's going to be a limit of 2 people per tee, unless you're from the same household, where you'll go to the 10th tee, probably off the 10th tee, whereby you'll play in your 3s and 4s. If you're all from the same household, be that a family or people who are house sharing. 1s and 2 balls will probably stay off the first hole here, and you're going to play 9 holes only by the look of things. So there's going to be lots of restrictions to what you do. If you're playing off the 10th tee, you'll walk around the side of the clubhouse here towards the 10th tee. Now, as golfers, obviously, we're trying to limit the amount of cross traffic that we have. And so if you go off the first, you're going to play at the first, come off the 9th, and then probably cut across the practice ground to come off. And then you'll exit the golf course that way and then straight off. The putting and chipping green here will be open, but there's going to be a maximum of 8 stations on there. So you'll only have 6 to 8 people using that facility there. Hi, Lorne. So we're going to have a set of stations there for you to use, but they will be limited. And the club has to do absolutely everything it can to ensure social distancing. Because it's still real, isn't it? There's still lots of people suffering with it. And so that's a sort of brief outline of how the return to the club will look. Should you need to get your trolley, then the marshal will let you through here to go and get your trolley, and he'll step out of the way and keep a safe distance. All the team here, all my staff, all the marshals and what have you, will be keeping very, very strict social distance from you all. And like I say, we'll all be in the masks, the gloves, and we'll be having the hand wipes. If you want to hire a trolley, we have the club hire trolleys here, and they're going to be in 2 stations. Infected trolleys, and the second station will be trolleys waiting once people, either the marshal or the pro, comes to make sure it's disinfected from here. If we do get back to giving golf lessons, and that's not 100% guaranteed yet, we'll probably just have a meet point at the flag stand there, and members will be asked to stay at that point and then move around. So ideally what we're trying to do is keep all the traffic from the 10th tee going that way. They'll play 10 all the way around to 18, to the 18th green, then walk off the 18th green and exit the club straight away. If you're playing at the first hole, we'll be meet and greeted here. We're trying to alleviate all the bottlenecking that's here, and then you'll go at the first hole, play, and on 9, you'll finish on 9, and come across the driving range, and then exit the club that way as well. So that's how it's going to look in very, very sort of brief, cursory terms there. Any questions, just send them via the live chat. I've no idea what date we're planning to open. The club was planning on working towards that May the 18th date, I think. So what the greenkeepers have done is they haven't had a full team of greenkeepers in throughout the whole period. They've been working on sort of 1 week on, 1 week off, or 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, that sort of thing. And so they've let the grass grow an awful lot, and that's why it's knitted so well. The clubhouse will be closed, yeah. All facilities will be closed. Gym, swim. I'm not sure about the outdoor pool, but certainly indoor. Cafes, bars, a lot will be closed. Under government guidance, I think it's still about July, isn't it? And so basically what they're doing here is opening up a wide open green space, 100 acres, and also the tennis courts. Tennis will have the same restrictions in terms of same household and what have you. There'll be no swapping ends. And so the greenkeepers were gearing up for Monday the 18th to get the course back to normal for you. It's going to be in mint condition, I assure you. It's absolutely perfect out here. But it's grown. They let the grass grow. They haven't stressed the grass at all. And so what you've got here, and if you just look at the... Funny enough, one of the lady members sent me a message on one of the first sessions that I did. And she said, Carl, look at all the divots on the first tee where you're teaching, because they were full of sand. And if I get you down close here, I mean, look at that. It is like a carpet. And so the knitting of the surfaces, this will be unprecedented for our lifetime. There's been no use of the golf course at all. So the knitting of the grass is superb. So the divots have self-healed. They've had lots of seed and sand in them as well to help them do that. And the greens have been hollow-tined. They've poured all the sand in, and they've been left to rest. So the grass has not been stressed. Now, three things really stress the grass. One is the weather, the heat, and the wind. So the high spots on the green tend to get very quickly burnt out. The second thing is damage from a golf ball. You think how many pitch marks go unrepaired. And then the third thing is the movement of traffic walking across greens. And that's why you can very quickly see a hole when it's been in the ground for 2 or 3 days. It very quickly starts to deteriorate. The grass is very fragile. And so all the work they're doing here has been working on strengthening the grass and really optimizing this lockdown period. So in terms of the club's obligations and responsibilities to your health, to the staff's health and what have you, it'll be taken extremely seriously. And this is not a return back to normal by any stretch of the imagination. This will be a pared down version of golf. And what we've done is we've taken all the advice from the governing bodies who've been working together. So that's the Greenkeepers Association, the Professional Golfers Association, the Club Managers Association, the RNA, England Golf. They've all been pooling their resources and their needs together to pressure the government into getting some form of coherent response. And that's when Sunday night's message was so sort of vague, but on Monday we got a far more detail there. So I can't give you any more information than that. I don't know anymore. I know the club is working very hard on that, and they will only open when it's absolutely ready for the club to be open for you. Alrighty, so today we're going to talk about distance, and it was Helen, the marketing manager, who said not social distance, but actual golf distance. So first things first, where does distance come from? but it comes from power and it comes from range in the body movement. So that noise in the background, does it seem a long way away to you, or can you still hear me perfectly well? No golf in Scotland, exactly right, or Wales. There's a golf course on the border in Scotland and Wales, which is half in, half out. I think 4 holes are in England, 14 are in Wales, and so they're sort of not sure what to do. Alrighty, just let me know, is that noise, is it too much, or is that in the background, or can you hear me loud and clear? A bit loud. Let me just see if I can do something about that. Give me a second. Right, I'm back. Okay, it's all gone now. I told you they were working. They're doing all the hedge trimming. All right, so what is distance on a golf ball? Well, it's generated by energy in the swing. So if we look at the true sources of energy in the swing, it's activity going that way. The minute my right side goes behind me, like that, everything slots into position. Now, I read a great article only last night by Dennis Pugh. Now, that's more air traffic you can hear there, which is obviously a good sign. So I read an article last night by Dennis Pugh. Dennis Pugh is the coach to... I'll come back to that in a second, Gene. Dennis Pugh is the coach to Francesco Molinari. Now, Molinari's form was pretty steady, but it wasn't going anywhere. It was just dipping a little bit. And each year he was finding it was sort of a few yards behind the next up-and-coming young guys. And so what they did, they embarked on trying to find a way of creating more distance. And what Dennis Pugh, his wording was superb. He said, what we tried to do was get as much flow in the swing as possible and try to put as much of his right side behind him. The phrase they use is deep, try to get deep. I'll explain that in a second. Trying to get as much of his body behind him on the backswing and straighten his right leg. So here's what the Open champion 2019 worked on. He wanted flow. So instead of bits and bobs moving differently, it all went back together. And what he did when I say this phrase of going deep, when we talk about depth in the swing, we talk about depth that way. Can we go deep here? Now, if we go a little too deep with the club, we get stuck. And that's a very common position for a lot of lady golfers. They swing the club around and get themselves all trapped and gummed up here. They don't create enough space. Now, the way to create space in a golf swing is that the right side goes behind like this. Watch my bum. And watch the space now in my legs. And that activity down there in my legs means that my hips, my trunk, and my shoulders have lots of space to go into. So that's how the world's leading players will view how they gain distance. They get themselves out of the way. They don't get stuck. And Tiger was talked about it all the time, about getting trapped or stuck. Now, you know yourself, when you're swinging badly, you feel like you're all gummed up or you're in your own way, you're getting stuck and you can't sort of make the movements. When you're swinging well, everything seems to flow on the way through. And that flow, that movement and that freedom is worth much, much more. Hi, Adrian. Is worth much, much more than strength and brute force and power, real power. Because if you get that movement around here, all of a sudden this club's got activity in it. And all of a sudden that club's moving around the body to create some energy and some swing speed. So lady golfers can't rely on physical bulk and strength and muscles and what have you. They have to rely on speed. And speed comes from movement and motion. So the initial motion is to pull ourselves back here and create space in the legs, and then that gives the arms somewhere to swing to. If the arms swing up rather than get stuck around here, you're in the prime position for optimizing distance, I assure you. So a reference point for you is once the body moves backwards this way, is that the club swings up and my hands are more or less over my right shoulder here. So what I want you to do now today, ladies, we're actually going to do some activity today, because what I'm very, very nervous of is that you've all been lacking some activity with your golf. So we need to get a bit of golf strength back into what you do. Now, golf strength comes from range and mobility. I assure you it's not muscles, it's how much range you've got in the body. So if you get off the sofa, please. All of you, put the coffee down or the glass of wine. What time is it? Oh, it's about 11:15. It might be a glass of wine by now. So let's look, first of all, at getting the body moving. So here's what I want you to do. The scissor exercise, where we piston ourselves backwards and forwards. Let's do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your body's engaged now, and I assure you, body is the engine to all the swing. If your body's moving backwards and forwards, like I've just shown you there, here's what happens from this angle here. We create a body turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if my body's moving around like this, because my pistons are working here and getting the engine working, that motion around my body gives me all the room to swing the club into. We want that club to move quickly and with some force and energy. If our body gets out of the way and the club swings around us, then on the way down, listen, that's where the swish comes from. So that's your first exercise. And if you can rewatch this video and go through these exercises, it just gets your body ready to be golfing in the next, I don't know, week or so. Okay, so once we've got the body doing the motion backwards and forwards, we want the arms swinging sync with this now. Now you look at the good players at the club. Joe Thessage is a lovely swinger of the club. Swings it very quickly, but moves herself very slowly, very elegantly. So when Joe swings, she gets herself out of the way, swings the club around, then all the swish is down at the bottom of the swing, because her hand and arm motion is now in harmony with the body motion. So if your first 10 exercises are the piston motion, the next one's the windmill. So as you go back, look how my arms are in plane with my shoulders. They're not wobbling around. And again, you think how when you look at someone swinging when they're all sort of wobbly and they're out of position, you can see it yourself. So as we go back, we're on plane here. As we go through. So 10, come on, get off the sofa, all of you. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you should feel the blood flowing into your hands now, because you're getting all the energy from the middle of your body out to your hands, and that's what a golf swing is. We're trying to move the energy out to here. Now, if you're gripping that club too hard, or you feel like it's a big effort to swing the club around the body, and it means the club head's not getting the energy. Now, if you're moving that body, like I've just shown you, and your hands and arms swing around, then the club head receives loads of the message of power. Move the body, swing the arms. And that's the golf swing. It's 2 movements. So move the body and a swing of the arms. And you can see how loosely I'm doing that action there. Now, a great exercise for, and you can order this now. Oh, Jean's in the garden with a club and a mat. I like it, Jean. That's more like it. Not smashed in the windows, I hope. Now, a great exercise for you now is look at me in the eye as you're doing this now. And you're doing your exercise backwards and forwards. Try and keep your head steady with mine. I'm not going around like this. I'm not toppling. Now, the minute I fall off balance like this, my swing movement slows down because the swing isn't powerful anymore. So let's have 10 goes together. 1, 2, look at me, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got my engine working. My arms are on plane with that. And now the center of my swing here is providing all the energy around me to provide smack at the back of the ball there. So we're swing building here with movement. So the forearms. You've seen me do this one before. Hold the club. It feels very light vertically. If you're in the garden now with the club, it should feel super light if it goes vertical. The more it goes down, the heavier it becomes. So try and take that club through 180 degrees of motion for me. Let's get active today because you're going to be back on the golf course very soon. You don't want these golf clubs feeling like mallets or unfamiliar implements. Okay, now 5 with the other arm now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My body is engaged for golf now. I'm ready to go. So let's talk now about the hand position. Because what we're looking for now is that when you return, you've had plenty of time. Just have a refamiliarization with your hand position on the handle. Now, if you've got your hands on the handle now, I'm holding that not loosely as such, but there's not too much pressure. You want a bit of pressure in there because you've got to try and create some power, and you can't do that if you've got a piccolo grip and your hands are super sloppy. So we need to hold that club with a little bit of grip. Now, the old phrase of holding a club so it feels like you've got a bird in there so you can hold it securely, that's why we hold the handle in the way we do, why we wear a glove on one hand, is that you'll hold it in a certain way so the bird won't fly away, or a tube of toothpaste in your hands that you could hold it without squeezing the paste out. Now, here's another fantastic exercise to get your body ready for golf again. If the club is held properly, it should feel active and like you've got some power in there. Now, here's an exercise I want you to do at home. Up, point the butt of the club down to the ground and create this angle of 90 degrees from the shaft to your glove arm here. And then through, same thing on the other side, 90 degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get those hands working. The sequence and the chain reaction in the swing is that the engine moves to create room for the arms to swing up into. Now, all that energy has got to transfer into the club head now. Remember, we're looking for distance today. If I hold the club loosely, or just the right amount of pressure, as I return down, then all the energy gets sent from the body, through the arms, into the hands which are holding the club head. Remember, the club head, the handle, are one unit. We're another unit. We've got to transfer what we do from our body into that club head. And the only connection we've got there is the hand position. Now, a plug and a plug socket in America has 2 prongs. We have 3 prongs over here. They both send electricity from one thing to another, but the connections are different. So that's why we're all allowed to have a variety of different positions on the handle. However, the connection has to be secure. Now, if the connection's secure, we don't have to grip the club. I don't call that a grip. I don't call that a grip position. That's a handle, and we hold the handle. So the exercise of the 90-degree L shape here through to 90-degree here is dependent on your grip pressure. Now, if I want to hit the ball with a reasonable smack, I'll just do a little swing here where I go up, create 90 degrees, through and create 90 degrees. And that's about... Marc Newey's here, our club chief executive. What's the last for ladies, Marc? Marc Newey's here, ladies. I'm live with our ladies from the Tuesday morning session.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
I've not given any secrets away yet, but what I have said to the ladies is that the protocols will be different. How we're arriving at the first tee here. There's going to be a limit on how many golfers will be allowed on. There's an email going out today telling members of the full protocols. Jean Halliday just asked a question there. Is a full timetable going to go up? Of different sports. What if I come down here, Mark? You're on camera there.
I'm trying to open the golf without giving any secrets away for Saturday. And the course, the greens won't be ready till Saturday. So we're going to open up from Saturday, ready for the weekend. And I'll be putting that out to members this afternoon. Tennis, I'll be able to open for Thursday. And that's the plan. And therefore we can get members playing as soon as possible, playing tennis and playing golf. But it won't be before Saturday, I'm afraid. Peter's requested to say that I can't open it before then because the greens will be too bumpy. We want them to be in good condition, ready for the weekend.
What I did say to the ladies, Mark, was that the club was geared up for May the 18th as being the probable likely opening date. And so Peter's planning of the past 6-7 weeks has been geared around letting the golf course knit back together, give the grass every opportunity to grow. They've been feeding it. They've been working very hard on that. And that's why it looks as pure as it does. but in order not to stress that grass, they've not been cutting it right down. And the greenkeepers have been working in shifts. We've not been on here working full-time teams all the time for obvious reasons with the furlough system. And so what's happened now is you've got a golf course which is absolutely primed to be presented beautifully for you, but that will take time.
So enjoy your lesson, and I'll see you all at the weekend.
Mary Barlow just asked us to stop talking about playing golf. So what I'm showing you there, ladies, is how that lever works between this L-shaped form by the forearm, the shaft of the club, and then a swing through to here as well. And that exercise of just getting your body moving, creating a lever here, is going to get everything transferring power where it matters the most in the club head. So the exercise I just showed you before Mark came down, I go up, I've created a lever here, and then I can create an awful lot of smack by doing that. Now I'm using my body, but I'm feeling it in my hands. And that exercise is a fantastic way of the hands getting all the energy in the swing. So I want you to work on a couple of things for me now. And this is a series of drills and exercises, which I'm showing you today, to get you back to full strength in your swing. You won't be at full strength. I can assure you now I've lost at least 3% of my swing speed. I measure it in my computer, in my studio, in the TrackMan there, when I'm doing my various videos. And then once I've done that, I'm looking at it, I'm seeing a loss of distance. And it's just through lack of range and lack of hitting balls. You know, I hit balls every single lesson, really. But it's amazing how quickly it goes. Okay, so I want you to do the split hand drill for me. And this is a great one if you're a bit of a flopper at the top. You get a bit of an overswing. Glove hand at the top of the handle, non-glove hand at the bottom of the handle. As you go back, you will now feel that club is much easier to support. It won't drop and collapse down here. And the point of the split-handed drill is that it keeps shape and size in your swing. If you've lost a little bit of strength through not playing and you come back and the club feels heavy and it starts to flop here, then this exercise here, supporting the club, will give you a much better feeling in both hands. Support the club there. Now the pros, you watch them all the time. I can show you a fantastic video in a second of Justin Rose. But let me just see if I've got it now. The pros work on very quirky exercises all the time in their swing. Let me just find it for you. And so when they're working all these strange drills and exercises, as I found it here. This is Justin Rose here. Now watch him. Look at that. Up, as normal. All looks orthodox to there, but watch this. Okay, so that's one of the world's best players. And he's not messing about there or doing, for the sake of silly stuff. What he's working on there is how his body works as he brings the club down. Now, in his case, he likes the feeling of the club dropping down to his side before it starts to return back to the ball. Now, the point of what I'm saying there is that these split exercises drills here are a fantastic way of training your body. If the world's best players need to accentuate a movement like he's just done there, then we should do the same thing. Now, the way of the beauty of the split-handed grip is it gives you so much freedom and ease of movement in the body. The body can really get around. And as we get up the top here, we keep some shape in the swing. Now, Mary's asked me about the hand position there. She's called it the grip. Very naughty that, Mary. We don't call it the grip. It's the hand position. What we're looking at there is that when I open my hand, you can see the thumb actually supports the underneath of the handle. So as I'm holding it here, it supports there. And my glove wraps around and the handle itself runs more or less through the base of these fingers here at a slight angle to those fingers, running that way slightly. Now, if I had to hold it perfectly, I'd hold it a bit more like that. That's fine. That's okay. So that sort of range there, thumb underneath. Then as I look down at that, my thumb is just slightly off center on this side, and I can see a bit of the back of the glove hand there. Now, the glove hand and the position of the hands, it's a slightly moving feast, but really we wear a glove on the glove hand because it has most support on the handle. It creates all the power and energy transfer from you to that. So as I place my hands on the handle, the glove hand comes over this way a little bit and I can see a bit of the back of it. That's not all the story. Remember, what we're looking for all the time is to get the club shaft pointing into my left hip socket here. So if I set myself up with that long straight line down there, then that's a massive source of all the leverage and energy and power in the swing. The right hand is really interesting because the left hand can't work on its own. Now, if I take my glove hand away, you can see there I've actually got a very small amount of my right hand, which actually touches the handle because the glove hand's in the way. And the reason why we hold the club in the way that we do is that's the most secure manner of getting the two hands to knit together on a handle of that size. We don't need to squeeze it, therefore. Now, I assure you, I've seen probably 3 times in my entire coaching career, I've seen a club slip out of somebody's hands and fly down the range, once with a junior and then twice with an adult, I think. It's very, very unusual, and that's why we hold the club. Now, what also happens is when we make the swing, we naturally stiffen up as we swing the club down. We tend to grip it a little hard. We put some more tension in there. So as we swing down, that process already happens. So the club won't actually fly out of your hands. So we definitely don't need stiffness at address. So when I said to you before about the positioning of the hands, and I talked about this drill here, the L-shaped drill or the 90-degree drill here, that means that we want the wrist to be active with some flow in there. Remember how I started this day by talking about Francesco Molinaro, the Open champion in 2019? He wanted flow and movement in his swing. He didn't want to get stuck and get in his own way. And the same thing happens on every joint in the golf swing. Now, the golf swing is highly unusual in as much as every single part of the body plays a role. And that's why when I do the coaching of the disabled soldiers in the On-Course Foundation, we can always find a way of making it work for them because we can utilize whatever the missing limbs counterparty would have been. We say, okay, well, if you're missing that side or we've got a problem with your right arm, then let's use the left arm differently to create a swing which maintains swish and power. And that's why we can have success with disabled golfers, because we use every part of our body in the golf swing. Now, if you've got an injury or you've got a post-operation sort of problem with any part of your body, number one rule, and Denise knows this, number one rule is protect it. Let's really make sure we take all the stress and the strain out of that part of the body. And then once we've done that, create a swing, which de-stresses that part of the body, but utilizes the other part of the body. So we can always work around it. So that's your first exercise. Second exercise, and this is a brilliant one for everybody. No club in your hands. Simply follow through and make a nice picture-perfect follow-through position for me. So off the sofa, or if you're in your garden, a few swings, and feel a really well-balanced follow-through. So what is a follow-through? If I was swinging towards you, my body would face the target, and my right shoulder would be lower than my left shoulder. I don't want to topple around here, otherwise I will fall off balance. So as I swing through and finish here, for maximum points and elegance, the right shoulder is slightly lower, and my body's facing through towards the target. Again, a great exercise that we're doing in front of the mirror, just getting the body moving into a follow-through position. Now, a common question we get is, why is a follow-through important? Because the ball's already well on its way to the target. A follow-through completely mirrors the quality of your swing. You will not arrive in a tour professional's follow-through from a poor swing-through position. Now, if you're a bit of a slicer, of the ball, you can do this with or without a club. What I want you to do is feel that you're swinging the club from behind to in front, behind to in front, behind, in front. Because if you do that like a tennis player, that ball's going to stop slicing. A slicer of the ball brings the club from in front to behind. If you ever see someone on the first tee swinging from in front to behind, that ball isn't going to have a nice big high draw. It's going to have a horrible curve that way. So what we're looking for in the swing is a swing from behind to in front. So if you want to get rid of the slice, swing from behind to in front. Now, I know most of my lady golfers don't slice the ball because you'll arrow straight down the middle of the fairway. Okay, finally, before any questions, if you've got any questions at all, type them in now. Final swing thought for you is the short game drill. And I love this. if anything explains how a club works in the short game, it's this motion here. Point the palms down to the ground and create a lovely gentle arc back and through, like this. That's the short game summed up in a motion. The last thing you want in the short game is a motion which does this or this. We're looking for smooth arc back and through. So, I want to hit a few shots now. And I want to look at how my body moves relative to what we just talked about. Now, I don't swing perfectly, but what I'm trying to do is put in the same engine motion in the body that the tour players do. If I do that and get myself moving backwards, get deep with the body, I create space for the hands and arms up here. And what do I do when I finish? I follow all the way through and finish the swing wrapped around. Same again. Set myself up. I try to engage my legs. Swing the arms up. I'm holding the club lightly and gently. And then I want to get into a finish position. And I finish here. Now, one of the negotiables in my swing, because of my back, is I don't always finish with my right shoulder lower. I tend to stand a bit more upright. But again, everybody's golf swing is a compromise between the negotiables and the absolutes. Alrighty, well, I hope you found that useful. What I've done there today is talked about the whole mechanics and where it all starts from with the body and how that gets transferred out to the club head. And that's the way you should think about it. If you watch somebody throw something, the body moves and the throw releases from the hand. The hand doesn't work on its own to throw. So it's got to start somewhere, how you create all that power. Alrighty, are there any questions about anything I've talked about today regarding the new protocol? You've heard it from the top man himself. Anything you want to talk about in terms of how we generate and create power, or any of the drills and exercises, which you want me to go through again? Well, hopefully this time next week, by the sound of things, we'll be back to normal. One thing I would say as well is, why don't you set yourself 3 new commitments for your game? If there's something you know you should be doing but you don't, i.e. practicing the short putts before you go and play, then put that down as one of your new sort of commitments to the game. It's the best game in the world. It's so time consuming. We spend an awful lot of time doing it. Why not just spend an extra 2 or 3 minutes doing something which improves that? Is there a shot you don't like? Are you particularly bad at bunker play or chipping over a bunker? Why don't you set yourself a target for this season? Because there's no risk now. There's no competitions to play. The handicap won't be going up. Why don't you work on that? Take a lesson and just say, okay, I want to work on that particular shot and sort of iron it out and do a bit of practice on that shot. And then also, is there a bad hole on the golf course? Is there a hole you typically play poorly? 13th is a good example of that. Because if you miss the 13th green on the left-hand side, you're not going to make many pars and bogeys from there because it's so difficult to get back to the flag. So look at certain holes and say, well, I don't like that hole, and try and find a different strategy for it. And look at next time you play is if that strategy can work for you. All right, ladies. Well, thanks for joining in. Any questions about anything, let me know. The email looks like it's going out today in terms of how you'll do everything. The practice area, I don't think so, Gene, as yet, because we've not had guidance from the PGA about how the lessons are going to work. So the practice areas, because there's naturally a bottleneck of going there, they'll remain closed for a little while. Now, my feeling is that this stage 1 opening will be quite short and the stage 2 will be quite long. I'm not based that on anything other than just a gut instinct. And I think once the stage 1 has been proven to be successful, there might be a little relaxing of that. So we're chipping away of things as we go, really. The putting green at the front of the shop there will have 6 or maybe 8 stations on for you to practice your putting before you come and play. But the idea is that if you come to use the golf course, then it'll be requested to turn up 10 minutes before your tee time, hit some putts and what have you, and then make your way to the the first tee or the 10th tee, and then once you finish that, walk off the golf course. So for the time being, G, no, the area to the side of 18 on the initial stage will be closed to members, and it's just about coming here to play 9 holes of golf. So it won't be sort of undefined practice time here. So it'll be a few putts before you play. You'll have to have a booking on the tee sheet, and then you'll go to the first or 10th tee, play your golf, and then leave the premises from there. Anything else? My pleasure, Mary. Nice to see you. Hope it warms up there in sunny Scotland. All right, ladies. Yeah, exactly. No. So can you play with a friend, or is it only family? Now, as I understood it, you're back. Hi, Linda. Nice to see you. Sorry about that earlier. I was having problems with the computer. So, Jean, as I understand it, if you listen to the speech, what he says is same household, doesn't he? And then it goes on to say about you can play with one other person, not from the same household. So I think the Sunday night speech and the Monday night, the Monday afternoon was certainly a bit clearer. But I think everything will come out how the club's going to operate, because we have to follow all the guidelines and be led by that. So it will be one other person from another household, so 2 people from different households, isn't it? I think. Is that right? Can we meet a friend of Richmond Park? You're getting above my pay grade here now, Denise. This is not really my my field of expertise. So let me just have a quick look while you're online. Okay. Let me have a quick look. I'm still here, ladies, if you wondering. Yeah, so it looks like what they said was playing as a 2-ball with one person not in a household is permitted. So yeah, you can play with different. Yeah, that's right. That's what, as I understood it there, Mary. We can play with one person off the household. All right, ladies. Well, before I get too involved in government policy here, like I say, not my pay grade, that one. I wish you all well, and I can't wait to see you all again, and hopefully we'll get back to some form of normality. And in the meantime, keep yourself healthy and safe. Like I said, the club will be doing everything it can to protect us and to protect you, and to make the environment here as safe as possible. There'll be no risks taken here, certainly, that's for sure, as you'd expect and want, really. So I wish you well, and my pleasure. Thank you all very much. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll speak to you all very soon. All the best.